I have it in the screwed up aspect ratio because I want to show some of these text walls of text. Click the links to send me art for the channel or your comic to edit. Some people have sent me these 100-page plus novels. One was 300 pages, which is fine, but really you can just send me the first 2 issues. That's enough. I can edit it and you can extrapolate from that. It's funny, but everything that people have sent me has been decent. There is a lot of talent in Comicsgate. Yesterday's comic was from a guy who had only been writing for a year. So I saw that Zach covered the G.I. Joe thing already, but he has gotten so soft lately. He got his start by being honest about comics written by idiots. Now he feels like he is old man Zach, towing the line, being politically correct. I don't blame him. He's selling comics. His time as an honest reviewer has ended. I guess it ended when he started selling comics and he's got money on the line. So his reviews, they're still fun, but they lack the punch of his early work when he was punk rock. Now, he doesn't even skate, bro. Real quick. I see people going after John Malin, which kind of blows my mind. Ever since the Anna stuff, I was surprised to see that people were seriously giving a shit about a silly cover, which I personally liked. I thought the expression and the colors were great. At the time, Malin had 7,000 subs, Cecil had 11,000, Anna had 140,000. Now, to be fair, John and Cecil have fans who are hardcore buyers of comics with deep pockets. Anna has a lot of fans who are just there because she's a pretty girl, and I don't mean that in the wrong way. She is talented. It just takes people time to get on the art page. And I'm sure Cecil gets a lot of the same treatment. Being beautiful can be a burden. Trust me, I know. But it's a case of all 3 channels helping each other. And Malin and Cecil have helped a lot of people. So is EVS. When I see serious fighting, when everyone is trying to sell comics, that's what crazy people do. Comicsgate has shifted from entertainment into business. When I see Anna trying to sell Vampirella, that is her money. That's her business. Help her sell her comic, and she will help you sell yours. If I was Ro, who can be very funny, and I misspoke about her sister, I would have bent over backwards, sincerely apologizing. Because that's a horrible thing to say. You can't talk about somebody's family and be the good guy. I would have gone out of my way, get on a live stream, apologize, and quickly move on. The whole thing is ridiculous. Let's all help War Campaign and Anna sell their books. There's room for everyone, and there's more room if we work together. Comicsgate is a small group to start with. I was thinking hardcore buyers is probably 5,000, and then maybe another 10,000 who buy every so often of the crowdfunded projects. And like the biggest association numbers you could say of Comicsgate, there's probably 150,000 people loosely associated with it. So it's not that big a group. It's certainly not big enough for there to be a half a dozen different factions of people splitting off and fighting. That's nuts. There's not millions of people buying books in Comicsgate. Comicsgate is a little bit under the 8 ball. Is that the right analogy? It's just, there's more, we're stronger together, hashtag. Anyway, Comicsgate is a business now. I criticize people occasionally in Comicsgate, but I only go so far. I want Cyberfrog to hit $2 million because I want everybody in Comicsgate to be successful. And to be fair, I know it will trigger the liberals like you wouldn't effing believe. To see that on Twitter will be so sweet when it hits $1 million. I want to see Mike come back to Comicsgate. I want to see his comics successful again. And I want to see if Comicsgate is mature enough to welcome the lost sheep back into the flock. I had a joke about NASA. I'm just not going to do it. What would happen if Mike declared himself Comicsgate and raised the Comicsgate flag, which would probably be a gay pirate holding a rainbow dildo? I want to see what happens, and I want that flag. I will welcome him into a warm, non-gay head nod from a safe 2 meters away. No more manly fist bumps. Hugs have always been cheesy. Don't hug. EVS and Ro have both attacked people in CG who are just trying to sell comics. JDA, Anna, Doug, Mike, this is their business. Don't F with their money. I don't understand how adults don't understand that. YouTube seems to attract a lot of weirdos. Sometimes I think that I am the only sane, rational person on YouTube. I wish everyone in CG would stop backhole loving each other and go back to backhole loving the SJWs. If I am being honest, the problem is the core of CG is centered around a guy with a lot of charisma, but who is probably a borderline personality. Nobody can mention it because we need the eggs. He can sell like a MFer. The dude is a genuine YouTube talent, but unfortunately he's mentally ill. I think even he would admit that. That's fine, it's not a problem, as long as you take him with a grain of salt and don't get too hung up on his personal vendettas. You gotta remember all the people he has fought with. Fox, Nurkic, Sashi, Tim Lim, Captain Cummings, JDA, Tristan, Douglas Ernst, Angleteen, that British couple, War Campaign twice, Doug TenNapel, Mike Miller, Nasser, and probably more. Do you think that they're the assholes, or is it more likely that he can be a little bit of an asshole? Now, I like him because I understand that he is a special needs character. And I can get along with difficult people because you got to dial your expectations back and know who you're dealing with. Don't put people on pedestals. Deal with them as they are, not with what your idealized version of them is. And as facts change, you got to incorporate changing facts into your model. Like once you're beyond 25, you really shouldn't be idolizing anyone. Anyway, I think he can be hysterical, but I know that every 2 months he is going to spurg out for eyeballs and clicks. I think EVS probably lost $1 million because of his fighting. If he wasn't so argumentative, he would have hit 300,000 subs by now, and Cyberfrog would have easily hit $2 million, though admittedly the Wu-Flu had something to do with it. Love him or hate him, he is tremendously talented, and before his meltdown, Comicsgate was growing at a very fast rate. Comicsgate was unstoppable. Now growth is very slow. Anyway, so if EVS, Rowe, and everyone else who is fighting with it seems like everybody else, mostly because of Twitter. Honestly, Twitter, it's okay to take a break from Twitter or get kicked off like I do every 4 months and just have to start over again. Just relax a bit. Remember, sodomize SJWs, don't sodomize each other. So I saw this tonight and I thought to myself, the left can't meme. The reason they can't is because they reach conclusions that aren't supported by evidence. They have bad ideas that can't be defended, really. So they get into this habit of pretentious verbosity, which I guess carries over into their comics. You know, actually I wrote pretentious verbose loquacity, but I was afraid I wouldn't be able to pronounce loquacity correctly. Loquaciousness? I don't know. Anyway, which carries over into their comics. This comic has walls of text that are completely unnecessary. Writing advice 101, don't fall in love with your writing. Figure the shortest way to express the concept and do it. Anyone familiar with comics can look at this and tell you that the word count should be half of this. This is nuts. I came across a few new comics. I saw the Gail Simone and G.I. Joe, but then I saw this image, and I know I hit the jackpot. Because literally, whenever you see a darker-skinned character on the cover, you know it's going to be beyond 20XX, beyond woke. They can't just have a POC in a story. They've got to be used as a bargaining chip. As a stunning and brave woman of color myself, I think this is silly. You're just using people as propaganda, which might be fine if that was what people wanted, but it's clearly not selling. It's not what people want. The story has a great premise. It's a play on the pandemic, but it pushes a far-left ideology I could barely scratch the surface of because the text walls are too much. It had one cool scene where he's on a motorbike, a hover bike. That was it. That was the one cool scene. The art isn't really the problem because he does faces well, but the composition of the characters on the page is repetitive and boringly static. You want dynamic composition. The faces are completely expressionless. Imagine paying $4 for that. Which creates the effect of ennui. The reader is bored and depressed. The sales surprised me. Issue 1 hit 13,000. By issue 3, it was down to 3,700, which sucks, but I'm amazed that they even sold $15,000 worth of this Lifetime Comics made for idiots. I assumed it would be in Mags Visaggio territory. Instead, it's selling as well as Mark Waid and Kwanzaa. I think Ignited it opened under 10,000. All this could be edited. This is insane. And some of these, this box is repeated with this box, and then you go to the next scene. It's literally, there's 4 panels of this, just walls of text. Cut that in half. It shouldn't be coming out. I looked up the writer. She's this pretty blonde girl. Is probably 30. Doesn't look like she should be. Doesn't look like she has a history of reading comics. And judging by this, I'm guessing no, she does not have a history of reading comics. Probably not a history of writing comics either, because this is so overridden. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys. I'll see you on the next episode.